Hello everyone, it's the Cowboy. Welcome to Elliott Wave Cafe. In today's episode, actually, I'm going to talk a little bit about the diagonals. I haven't done an educational video in a while, and we'll jump right onto it here. Before we do so, please take a look at where you can find us on Twitter at Elliott Cafe, and then there is several Telegram channels where you can come in and kind of get in touch with me and see what else we're doing out there. Right, with that being said, let's jump on and take a look. We're going to take a look at the single stock today because I think this one has several nice patterns in here that I want you to look at it and see, if you can identify for yourself what I'm looking for. So this chart is blank, and I want you to, just kind of stop the video here and take a look at it and try to identify this whole corrective move. I want you to go all the way from these highs, right here. I want you to come all the way to the bottom. Right, and give me this whole corrective pattern and then try to do something that starts from these lows and move here towards the highs. Right, I'm going to stop the video here and I'll see you in a couple of minutes. All right, well, I'm back, and let's see how you guys did. I'm going to show you my count, and then I want you to compare it against yours and see what you come up with. All right, so here is my count. I think this is a nice, clean corrective move. Obviously, you have a nice impulsive pattern that starts here, let's say in January in 2012, 2011, whatever. We don't really care exactly what this is and how it looks like, but we know that this is clean and impulsive, right? It's got pretty nice trending market in here, and this pattern from these highs to these lows, it's very choppy and very overlapping. I mean, these waves are kind of all over each other. So my best interpretation into this is that this is actually a leading expanding diagonal, and if you haven't seen one, this is kind of how they look. Now, this is not the best one out there. There's a couple of them that are even better. I'm going to try to do a video on those as well, just to kind of give you more examples on that. But you can look here from these highs as you come here in an impulse, right? That's a wave one from the highs, and then you pull back here in this wave two. You have a nice ABC in here. Then you have a three-wave advance. So remember, in leading diagonals, you can also have impulsive patterns in legs 1 and 3 and 5. They don't necessarily have to be zigzags. Only in ending diagonals they have to be zigzags or double zigzags. So in here we have an impulsive move, then you have a corrective move. You have another impulsive move, you have another corrective one, and then you have another impulse, right? What you want to see is you want to see wave 3 being longer than wave 1, which is the case in here. Wave 5 is longer than wave 3. Similarly, it's bigger than wave 3. Now wave 4, it's also larger than wave 2. So this is something that's nice to see. So I'm kind of hitting all the criteria for a leading diagonal. Right, so this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have complete a wave A. Overall, you were considering this a zigzag, right? It's a double zigzag. You have the first, actually it's a simple, it's not a double, because on a double you would have a WXY. So you have wave A, right, of this larger zigzag. Then you have the corrective pattern here in a flat. So you have a nice A, B, C. We consider this a nice running flat. And then you drop down sharp in this wave C, and the corrective pattern, it's over. Right, now what I'm interested in is at the move from these lows, right? You go from here, you come and you do a leading diagonal, which is pretty amazing to see. It's almost a textbook leading diagonal. As you come from these lows, you can see how these waves here are expanding, right? Wave 3 is longer than 1, wave 5 is longer than 3. In here it's different. Wave 1 is the longest wave, wave 3 is shorter than 1, and wave 5 is shorter than 3. And I'm going to dive down in it so you can see it a little bit better. Right, you have this nice impulsive move, right? This is a clean, 5-wave move in here. You have a wave 1, then you have a wave 2, which is a nice zigzag. You have another impulse here in wave 3, then you have a 4, right? And this 4 finishes, I might be wrong in here, it's probably finishing up into these levels. And then you have another impulse in here that goes, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you have, I think, a small ending diagonal here in this wave 5 of this longer fifth wave of the leading diagonal. So you can see that each subsequent wave, and I'm going to measure this fifth wave so you can see. You see how it's smaller, actually, like, the Motivate software automatically gives me the level. So 100% for this fifth wave to be equal with wave 3 would have to go all the way up here to about 4693. And now, what's very nice is what happens from there. You actually get a pretty cool setback. You have a nice three-wave decline in here, which is beautiful. It's just a simple zigzag. It's another ABC, right? If I take some fibs in here and you want to see the measurements, we're pulling back exactly into the 618. So it doesn't actually get any more textbook than this when you get a leading diagonal followed by a nice pullback in here. This is, one of those setups that you should be all over when you see it. And I do own Altria here into my stock portfolio, but I actually haven't seen this pattern develop. I think I own it since we started building this leading diagonal in here. So it's an amazing pattern in here. I think it's it's something that's extremely powerful. It usually happens after you hit major lows, as the market starts to build up strength, and it's after it kind of cleaned everybody on the short side. Then we start to accumulate. We're building this pennant pattern that they call it in the traditional wave analysis, but it is a leading diagonal, and it leads to extremely strong price action next. So following this decline here into the 618, you would want to look and see some projections. I would take my expansion tool, and you would go from here. You would measure from these lows to the top of the wave, and then pull back into the second, and you would look anywhere from 100% and higher towards 1618. So this impulsive move actually has the potential to get all the way to 65 in Altria, which is pretty amazing, right? Where first kind of targets would be up here at the B wave top. I'm not gonna argue if we're having a little bit of a pullback. You can see how it kind of matches also the 100% relationship with this advance on here. So at about 51.78. Now you might argue with me and say, listen, cowboy, I don't like how you counted this. I don't like this as a leading diagonal, and I don't like this awkward flat. And, I just don't think this is the right count. Maybe you're just not happy with the subdivisions. Maybe you come up with something else. So I'm going to show you the next one that I have on here, and maybe you have this possible, right? It's this. It doesn't matter which way you count it. The clear idea here is that you have a completed corrective move. Right? It's beautiful. It's kind of, it shows you, the market shows you that it's done correcting by the fact that it's pulling off these lows. It's got this long wick in here. It goes up into the leading, pulls back in second wave, in a three-wave decline, and then we're starting to rally, right? Now you can count this very simple as well as this is a double zigzag. I mentioned by mistake in the first one as being a double zigzag, but it's just a simple one. But this could be a double, right? You can go in an impulse corrective. So you have an A, you have a B, you have a C. You can actually measure. Let's see, just out of curiosity, to see what C versus A looks like. So you're just slightly below 100%, right? Which is pretty nice for a clean zigzag on there. Then you do a flat in here, right? You have another A, B, C. So you can kind of count this as a flat. The reason why I don't like this is just because of the depth of this B wave, which almost, which looks a little bit more as an impulsive structure. So you can have an A, and then you have this B, and then up in C. It's just, flats are 335s, and this is a little bit pushing it in terms of that narrative. But, if you're not happy with mine, you can use this and go in a W, ABC up here for a flat in X, and then you have another three-wave decline at another ABC. Let's measure these as well. So this one traveled also a little bit more. It came up here to about 127 multiple of wave A. All right, and then you can also kind of measure what happens in between wave Y and wave W, and this is at about 161.8 multiple of the wave W. So this is another way of looking at it. So guys, listen, this is what it is. It's not super complicated. I think in the markets it's nice to use fib relationships, but it's also super nice to use pattern structures, right? And remember, leading diagonals are not impulsive moves. They are motive moves, motive waves, right? We have in Elliott Wave principle, we have two types of moves. We have motive waves and we have corrective waves. Motive waves are the impulse waves, which go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The waves don't overlap each other. And then you have diagonals, which can be expanding and contracting, right? And those actually have to overlap each other to meet the criteria. And in this case, we have them both. We have an expanding diagonal in here, and we have a leading expanding, and we also have a leading contracting back in here. So right now I'm looking for this to kind of continue to go much higher, right? I thanks everybody for for watching. If you wanted to take advantage of our pro room, there is a 7-day free trial on there. There's no card required. You can see what we do and how we trade. We cover everything from crypto markets to alts, to equity markets, to stocks, to commodities, and everything in between, treasury yields and all of that good stuff, so we can have a good understanding of the overall market. So again, I thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell, and I'll try to do more educational lesson later. Thank you. Bye-bye.